Hello and welcome back from iKeysRacing from Monza and also from the virtual Monza. And welcome back because today it's a particular day. 35 years ago we have lost Enzo Ferrari, that in Italy was a prominent figure not only for motorsport. In my opinion was also the best Italian ever lived in Italy after the unification of this country. Because apart racing cars, apart victories, apart an incredible automotive industry, did create a world that was not yet thought, I can say, by many others Italians. And my childhood memory are quite, how to say, misty. But I do remember basically my father being disappointed by two things. In May 82, the death of Jules Villeneuve. In August 88, the death of Enzo Ferrari. That I wanted to celebrate in a particular way. Oh, there are some Ferraris passing also. 3 Formula 1 cars coming from the early 90s. And so I think, and I thought was not a decent way to drive the first Ferrari ever built, the model 125S here that we are driving. But also wasn't bad to see many other Ferraris around. I think that we can love Porsche, Lamborghini, Corvette, name whatever you like, I'm sure I will love it. But as an Italian, despite not deciding to be born in Italy, I can only say that maybe Ferrari is one of the few good things, apart from wines and food, that this country ever had. We have a great history about cities, about art, but we still rely on them. In modern times I do not remember very famous and particular things made by Italians at a level where things are recognized outside Italy because they raise the bar instead of just producing something. And I think that Ferrari is mainly this. Not only. I also think that, like for Apple, you cannot, well, you can trace a pre-Steve Jobs era and a post-Steve Jobs era. At the same time, you can do similar thing with Ferrari. And despite both companies continuing to be absolutely stunning and beautifully crafted as a company first and then as producers of something. Especially with Ferrari, I would say you cannot talk about Enzo Ferrari without talking about cars. You cannot talk about cars produced by Ferrari without going into the motorsport area. And you cannot talk about Ferrari race cars without talking about Enzo Ferrari back. Because this 125S we are driving was the first ever Ferrari purpose built after Enzo being just a team director for Alfa Romeo in the 30s, end of the 20s, beginning of the 30s. And then as a car producer from the end of the 40s up to his death. And believe me or not, it's a privilege for me to say that I was there at least at Monza in that September 88 when Gerhard Berger and Michele Alboreto won the Italian Grand Prix, scoring first and second position 1 month after the death, the passing of Enzo Ferrari, the founder. And despite at this point going into almost mythology, because the reverence gifted to Enzo Ferrari is something like that, and I think also deserving the recognition of the magnitude for what he did. But to me, despite being an Italian loving Ferrari but respecting at the same way and loving at the same way Corvette, Porsches, Lamborghinis, Acuras, Cadillacs, whatever, Hondas, whatever you name, I love it. But I do understand that Ferrari was something more than just a car producer. Because many manufacturers produce cars. But nobody, without investing €1 in marketing, has the same appeal. The same history, the same sound, the same courage to think about racing cars when Italy was, like many other countries, coming after Second World War. People had difficulties to eat every day, to access a healthy life, if I can say so. But for Enzo Ferrari, the meaning was producing cars to sell them for a personal passion, for a personal almost tribute to himself. And what is astonishing, in my opinion, is that the dream of being a car producer with wins, selling more cars and selling more cars meant have funds for his company. To me, it was almost a crazy idea back then. I do remember histories and bits of story by my grandfather that did the Second World War, and in 1949 creating a car like this was pure craziness, because there was people also basically, I said, not eating, not having a healthy life, not having minimum needs solved. And the man behind that craziness. He was not a healthy man coming from, I don't know, the fact of being the son of some politician or the son of some great entrepreneur. He was a teenager, more or less, when he went to fight for the World War I, the first one. And due to the consequences of that war, of the flu pandemic, he lost his father, he lost his brother. He was basically alone with his mother. With a family business to rebuild from scratch almost. Nonetheless, he was capable to say, okay, I like technical things. And he started as a test driver, then promoted to racing driver, winning 4 Grand Prix for what was Grand Prix scenario after the Second World War. Sorry, the First World War. And he won 11 races out of 40 participations. I mean, he was quite great as a driver. Unluckily, the loss of 2 close friends, Antonio Ascari, the father, and Ugo Sivocci, another great driver of the era, in some way put Enzo Ferrari into a no more willingness about racing, but the passion for the machinery, the car, the technology was still there. And despite there is a Ferrari 512 BB killing the engine, a bit of work for mechanics tonight. For Enzo Ferrari, the passion was intact, and so he decided to become first of all, a team director, another blown engine, taking the material of Alfa Romeo Corse that was dismantled by the Alfa Romeo as a company overall, and deciding to be a team director. He was good about organizing things for a racing team. He was good to talk with drivers because they talk the same language, being Enzo Ferrari a driver before becoming a team director or a car producer. And so I must say, you cannot be untouched by the personality of Enzo Ferrari. And so he achieved successes as a driver, as a team director with the Alfa Romeo material, up to the end of the 40s, where the Scuderia Ferrari was not anymore a Scuderia, like can be today a Yost racing team or whatever other type of racing teams involved into motorsport. So he decided to build this car, 12 cylinders, 1.5 liters, naturally aspirated engine, thank you. And it was just the first of many. Many cars winning races, many cars sold to actors, actresses, football player, musicians. Movie directors, politicians. Nowadays, obviously, we may remember Ferrari maybe more for Formula 1 methods than anything else, but the roots of Ferrari were into sports car and grand tours. In fact, the Model 250 GTO was the dawn of grand tours homologated for racing. Oops, another Formula 1 broken. Up to the point that Ferrari is recognized outside Italy worldwide, like Coca-Cola, like Apple. And this is something special, I would say, because it is not a mass market product. It is just something for the wealthy people of the world. Want to demonstrate maybe their money power, why not? But as I remember since I was a child, a status symbol, as you may say nowadays. While we have reached with the first Ferrari ever built, the Ferrari 166M was the first Ferrari to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. As you have seen today, it has been a quick race for many Ferraris and not for us. To me, it was just an ideal talk and drive, taking the luxury of driving the first Ferrari ever built by Enzo and his team. And if I go back to think about the figure of Enzo Ferrari, I think that more than many others was a figure of the attitude about never giving up. Considering that he lost, as said, a father, a brother, almost lost the family business, lost Ugo Sivocci and Antonio Ascari, that were friends, not only contenders, as a race driver. Despite this, not losing the passion, fighting every day to make his company profitable and well considered all over the world. And so let me say, who else can show a level of cars loved all over the world, with wins all over the world, with almost a mythological history or legacy, despite his founder has passed away 35 years ago. And so, who else, apart from Ferrari, has the same history, the same set of wins, the same mythology behind, the same everything? When you talk about Ferrari, you get into, I don't know, something so special that transcends the boundaries of just being a famous company or a famous entrepreneur. And what I like about Enzo Ferrari is that you cannot divide in some way personal life, personal character, personal behaviors with the company and vice versa. It's like if the soul of a man has remained into every aspect of Ferrari company. Cars produced, wins, losses. Technicians hired, drivers hired, drivers fired out, technicians fired out. But overall, the world of Ferrari, I think, will remain always not only a beautiful product, not only a beautiful object to have in your garage or to race on a racetrack. Even if you don't win in Ferrari, you become anyway a more recognized driver because you have been there. Or if you own a Ferrari, for sure makes at least a bit of difference comparing to owning a Porsche, a Lamborghini, with all the respect I have for those names, but still there is something magic in Ferrari. And because maybe the man behind the company was magic, a man of maybe a bad character, a man maybe of bad manners sometimes, but who is not fulfilled with bad manners, especially if he is the founder or at least the CEO of the company. When your target is clear in your mind, you have only to learn how to put people to do the things to obtain your target, your object. Once it is clear in your mind, you have only to make people that you hire to do all the best possible to reach what is a complete achievement of your target, of your focus, and so on. And so this thing is my personal legacy, to be fair, about Enzo Ferrari, a man born a few years after Italy has become a unified country, mid of the 18th century. He was born at the end of the 18th century, maybe with this love for the country, love for a patriotic way to see things. And because we were still close to the Renaissance of Italy, maybe he had also this particular manner of looking forward, because every new good thing created was a better thing than before, a better world than before. And his words are absolutely stunning also nowadays, I think, because he used to say, if you can see it, view it in your mind, then you can create it. Because if your mind is the result of everything that you know, that you have seen, that you have heard, that you have listened, that you have read in a book, the combination can be something that can be created. He did so with a tiny Ferrari 125 or 12.5S, a 1.5 liters, 12 cylinders, masterpiece of technology at the end of the 40s. He raced and won this car, and in few years Ferrari has become an incredible company overall. Talking about successes, currently holder of more titles, drivers and constructors in Formula 1, second just to Porsche for 10 Le Mans wins, but we must consider that from 74 to 2022 Ferrari did not participate officially into the endurance world, so who knows in the future what will happen, or what could have been the past if Ferrari hadn't signed with Fiat an internal agreement to concentrate on Formula 1, that was the new product for sponsorship reasons, and in some way give up on endurance world. We will never know, but as said, the history is written by who wins the battle, the fight, whatever, the war. And so maybe in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, we will see if also Porsche will hold the record for most Le Mans wins, and who knows, maybe one day Ferrari will go also to race against the Americans at Daytona, at Sebring. We don't know and we cannot know now, but if I can leave you with a sort of single phrase about Ferrari, Enzo, as a human being, as a man, is mainly something like if you can see in your mind something that you care a lot, you can achieve it, working hard every day to achieve it. So 35 years ago in Italy we have lost Enzo Ferrari. 35 years and few days after losing Tazio Nuvolari, maybe the two motorsport men most influential for the Italian country of the last century, and so far still the most influential indeed. And Ferrari as a company, maybe the best company of motorsport, was capable to build also a Maserati MC12 20 years ago, more or less, to revive in some way the Maserati brand. Still Ferrari was behind the powertrain. It was the Ferrari Dino V6 engine that powered the Lancia Stratos, the Lancia Stratos, multi-winning World Rally Championships. So there was and there is so much into Ferrari, not only in a single scenario, not only as a road car producer, not only as a sport car producer, but overall technology, innovation, believing that you can always raise the bar day by day. And Enzo Ferrari did it with himself, becoming from a mechanic to awarded into engineering, into economics, because he created and maintained a company for 50 years, let's say 70. I hope that a bit of curiosity has been placed today within iKeysRacing community about Enzo Ferrari, a figure that still nowadays creates a lot of interest, a lot of debates, a lot of sincere curiosity into an unrepeatable man, an unrepeatable story, an unrepeatable way to build a company, to build racing cars, to build road cars. And so from the first Ferrari ever, I say thank you very much for watching. You will find a bit of links into the video description. I hope to not having been too cheesy, too sad or dramatic into some phrases and some sentences, but of the few things I'm proud of being Italian, Ferrari is the first, I'm sure, together with art, together with Brembo stealing about technology, but in difficult times also for this country, proudness can come sometimes also from the past, and maybe lessons and learnings can come from the past. And the past of Ferrari, like the present and I hope a bright future, is and will be always something, I would say, superior to philosophy, religion, politics. Here it's the story of a man and his company, and the story overall in some way teaches how to almost, I would say, afford life. Because when you lose your father and your brother and then your mother, and you lose everything that you were used to before going to fight a world conflict, well, if you don't have inside you something more than pure ambition and technical skills, maybe you do not achieve so much. But instead, Enzo Ferrari demonstrated that despite starting and being broken, poor, without anything more in life, he was anyway capable to reinvent himself from scratch. And is the wish that I let at the end of this video for you, for me, why not, for everybody, to always be capable to reinvent yourself and always look forward to accomplish something that maybe you even didn't know you could. So we say thank you very much to Mr. Enzo Ferrari and to his legacy, his past, his present, and hopefully his future as a name, as a brand overall. And maybe, who knows, in a parallel world is now with Tazio Nuvolari, Jules Villeneuve, Didier Pironi, Niki Lauda, and so on. Still racing, still enjoying the good part of motorsport. Memories, achievement, adrenaline, a lot of emotions, and a lot of knowledge that made you grow up, becoming a man of motorsport. That generally, like for every sport, is a good set of values and good manners to approach life and to respect also life, because it is a precious gift. Thanks to everybody, stay very well, best wishes to you all and to your beloved. See you very soon on iKeysRacing. Stay into keen racing and see you the next time. For today, that's all.